are arriving home with actually 2 Mustangs that I've picked up for the Mustang Tip Challenge. Kind of one of the most adrenaline charged parts for me is unloading them because my husband is filming and I'm having to kind of do it, but these guys do it pretty smoothly. And introducing them both, so the paint or Pinto is Wyeth, which aka Y, which he is named after a famous painter named Andrew Wyeth, and I thought that was kind of fitting. And then the black or dark brown gelding is Eton, which is the name of a black mythical horse. So thought those were fitting for those two, and now you get to see me struggling a little bit. These are heavy, very heavy bullpen panels, so they work really well with the Mustangs and keeping them safe. But I was a little bit on the struggle bus here because they were very heavy, and these guys were a little funny because they were very willing to kind of go back into the trailer, or they're very interested in trying to find a weak spot. So I had to be pretty careful. Okay, my adrenaline is really high right now. So my goal now is to try to get them separated into the stalls. We were having some bad inclement weather coming in, so I really wanted to get them in somewhere dry. And it can be really tough when you've got 2 Mustangs because they're kind of joined at the hip, and the one rope on Eton is a little too long for my liking. It can be handy to have that long of one, but I prefer to have a little bit shorter one. So I cringed a little bit when they did that because luckily neither of them hit their hips. But here Y pops out and I'm able to kind of keep Eton in there. And then you can see kind of Y kind of goes in. So they're both very different horses. Eton is the 6-year-old, much stronger built type, and then Wyeth is a 3-year-old, so he's a little bit lighter build, and he's a little bit calmer of the two. And he kept going in and out of the stall, so I was really trying to get him to slow his feet down, but using very minimal body language. And he finally starts to kind of pick up on it. He starts to slow down. He's trying to kind of assess the situation. He was very methodical. He liked to do those little figure eights, which was really interesting to watch. But I'm really trying to just hang out over here on the panel, really not exude any energy whatsoever. Because the problem was the minute he would go into the stall, he would bust right out. But I get him into a nice quiet place, and then I'm able to get him to kind of head towards that way. And one thing's in talking about kind of what I like is that this horse has a really good neck set and a really nice shoulder. So he seems to be a really athletic type. So I got them in their stalls, and Y was really inclined to kind of stand right up by the bars, and you can see his face has gotten a little beaten up. That can happen when they're shipping, they nick their heads and stuff like that. But all those heal, luckily. And so now I'm going to take the opportunity and do a little clicker training. So again, getting him to be okay with my hand. Right there, he kind of spooked a little. And I'm just going to wait. And the approach and retreat. And then when he touches, I cluck. And I give him some really good green alfalfa, which he seems to really enjoy. So, again, I was actually quite shocked at how confident he was, kind of being right up in the front. Sometimes they can stand in the back and aren't so sure. So, just working on this, lots of little short sessions. I would go, walk away, and come back, and just getting him acclimated. And again, this was their first day. I had to leave for the weekend for work. And so just trying to get in a couple of sessions before I left. I was really liking how this guy responds. And so again, you can see now he's starting to settle even more. And it's just that repetition and starting to introduce the cluck. This actually I find too works pretty well because you're behind the wall and you can give them the hay. And so I was really happy with his session. And now Eton was like cowering in the back of the stall, so I had to kind of try to entice him. So you see he has the lead rope on. So I was able to kind of put a little bit of pressure on the halter to get him out of the corner so I wasn't in danger. But I was able to get him to eat out with my hand, which I thought was pretty good. And overall, I was really happy with how they were responding. Again, trying to introduce the clicker training to them. Using the positive reward of the hay and just trying to get the idea across that I'm not danger, I'm friend. So again, they're completely different horses, and the age can kind of play a part in that as well. I came back home after my trip, and so Y had managed to get his halter off. He has turned into being a bit of a halter Houdini. So I had to use my rope, and I was able to get the rope on him in the stall, but I wanted to close the door so he wasn't running in and out. So kind of what I'm doing with this session is trying to introduce him into being comfortable with the rope, kind of pretending like it's a halter a little bit. 2, Y is also pretty lame on the hind left. I was concerned that it's was possibly injured a stifle, but pretty sure it's an abscess. So you can see he's really soft and light, and he's trying. So he has a pretty good balance between, I mean, he is flighty though, but he is trying really hard. And one of the things I have to watch with him is when he gets scared or he's not sure, he does posture. So he'll like arch his neck and make himself really big. And that's when you have to watch to make sure they don't come over the top of you. And that's just them kind of claiming their ground and kind of positioning themselves a little bit. But so far you see he's licking and chewing. He's trying to understand. I'm really trying to keep this kind of a low pressure because again, he's ouchy. But at the same breath, I'm trying to get him to where I can put my hands on him so I can, get the farrier out, see to make sure it is the abscess, and to try so we can help him get better sooner. So just practice a little bit of the walking just on the rope, and I was really, really happy with how he's dropping his head. All those starting to get more comfortable with me around him, because when they're very nervous they won't drop their head. So again, here you can see he kind of will arch his neck a little, and that's kind of the little bit of the posturing I was talking about. And I'm going to go and I'm going to kind of show him kind of mimicking what it's like putting on a halter. And again, it's pretty good because I've got all that rope coiled up, and that can be pretty scary. So when he wants to go to leave, I just kind of ask him to step up again, just with the lightest pressure. He kind of wants to leave, so I put a little bit harder, and then he says okay. Introducing the rope. Again, trying to present something, presenting the rope, and then taking it away. So he did that pretty well. And right as he dropped his head, I removed it. And he's learning to accept the praise in my voice as a positive as well, because I've started the clicker training and kind of that mapping. And so again, kind of I'm just working on trying to mimic what it's like putting on a halter, and then making sure I give him some space and a break. And there I get a nice lick and chew. So I give him a little rub. And he's doing really well. Again, I'm quite pleased with the fact that he is hurting, that he's staying very calm. This helps the process a lot more. It can be hard and tricky if they are injured in trying to gentle one in the beginning when they're really wild. As you can see, he's very much wants to try to figure out the puzzles, and I really like that about him. And also on another note, you'll see I'll leave the neck tag on for just a little bit longer than I have in the past. I've found that this is, nice to have on there. For example, Y, who likes to take his halters off. So then, especially in the beginning when they're pretty fresh, if anything was to happen, if they were to get out, at least you have a neck rope. And by training them this way, I get them to train off the pressure, and I can get them to lead pretty well. So he's got a good start, and I'm pretty excited about him.